Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Isra Rodiatul Jannah Samsir and I'm from English Literature Class C. This is the synopsis of The Little Match Girl. It was New Year's evening. Snow was falling and darkness was gathering. The evening was bitterly cold, and in this darkness a poor little girl walked, bareheaded and barefoot, through the streets. She had been wearing slippers of her mother when she left home. The little girl had been trying to cross the street, and suddenly she saw two carriages coming very fast. So naturally, she trying to cross quickly, and in the process, her slippers came off. They were too big for her. One slipper was lost, and another one was taken away by the unknown boy. The boy bullied the girl as she was a soft target for him. So the little girl walked about the street on her naked feet, and her foot became red and blue with the cold. In her bag she carried many matches, and she had a package of them in her hand as well. Today she was unable to sell any matches, and no one had given her a single penny. She crept along, shivering and hungry. The snowflakes fell on her long golden hair, but the girl did not think of her appearance now. Lights were shining in every window of every house, and there was a beautiful smell of roast goose in the street, as it was an evening of the New Year. But the little could not think of anything else. She went to a corner formed by two houses, one of which projected further out into the street than of other. She took her legs up under her, but she felt colder and colder, as she had not sold any matches and earned not a single penny. She did not dare to go home. She thought her father could beat her, and besides, it was so cold at home. Their home had only had only a roof above them, and the wind whistled through that. Her hands were almost numbed with cold. She put just one small match from the package to warm her fingers. It had a warm and bright flame like a small candle, but it seemed to the little girl if she were sitting in front of a great iron stove. The fire gave out such lovely warmth, and as the child already stretched her feet to warm them too, the flame vanished, and she sat with the burnt match in her hand. Then she lights the second match and imagines a table filled with delicious food and wishes she could have some. She lights up the third match and then imagines a beautiful Christmas tree and then sport stars falling in the sky. While she lights up of the third matches and sees her grandmother, she want to be with her grandmother so desperately that she lights up all the matches to keep her grandmother with her. Her grandmother takes her in her arms, and they fly away from the earth towards heaven. In the next morning, people passing by the lamp and see the poor girl lying dead in the corner and think that she must have frozen to death in the cold. The people see the burned matches and conclude that she had been trying to warm herself. The narrator said these people have no idea of the beautiful vision she has seen, and now she is far away from the cruel world.
My name is Wahyu Ramadana and I will analyze the short story. The first is theme. The theme is hope and struggle, portrayed by the little girl's struggle to warm herself in the cold winter and the little girl's hope for her imagination to come true. The second is tone. The authors represented a sorrowful tone throughout the story. At the very beginning, the writer put us in the position of a little girl's shoes. The tone is pathetic and the mood is somewhat magical but mournful. The third is irony. In the short story, there is a situational irony. It is in paragraph 3. She did not dare to go home, for she had sold no matches, earned a single penny. Her father will be sure to beat her. The little girl wanders aimlessly through the streets, barefoot and shivering. No passing adults stop to help her. She also cannot go home because her father will physically harm her for not selling any matches. The fourth is figurative language. One of the figurative language in the story is a metaphor. It is a picture of misery. The narrator describes the visual imagery of the protagonist walking on cold streets. He refers to the picture of misery. The author emphasized the little girl's bad situation by suggesting that she exists solely as a portrait illustration of the conceptual idea of misery. The fifth is symbolism. The first symbolism is the match. The match symbolizes the little girl's happiness and hope. Whenever she would light a match, she would see something where she would rather be or do. The second is the goose. The goose symbolizes the little girl's childish innocence and her happiness to remain happy despite the painful situation she's in. When she sees the roasted goose, it waddles toward her, creating a comic scenery despite the tragic situation. The third is shooting star. A shooting star is a symbol that already explained in the story. When someone's dying, one shooting star is falling, meaning that the falling star represents a human soul rising to heaven.
Characterization. The little maiden at first had a pair of slippers, but she lost them when two carriages were rolling down the street dreadfully fast. Then she was bare-footed and dirty. When she left home, she had slippers on in its drawer, but what was the good of that? They were very large slippers, which her mother and hitherto worn. So large were they, and the poor little thing lost them. She scuffled away across the street because of two carriages that rolled by dreadfully fast. Setting, the last evening of the year, New Year's Eve, was tribal cold, nearly quite dark. In the corner formed by two houses. Plot. Exposition. The exposition of the story is that the little maiden is left out on the streets on a cold New Year's Eve, while everyone is at home celebrating. Rising action. The rising action of the story is that the little maiden can't return home because she hasn't sold any matches. She doesn't have anything to warm her up, so she uses the matches to warm her up. Imagery. The prominent use of visual imageries along with others plays an important role in making the fairy tale motif of the story a success. The very first sentence of the story is very prominent an example of visual imagery. It was bitterly cold, snow was falling, and darkness was gathering. For it was the last evening of the old year, it was New Year's Eve. The above-mentioned line is a descriptive statement on the bitter cold of a wintry night. In the next paragraph, 3 is the description of a poor little girl walking, bearded and barefoot. The writer uses alliteration, emphasizing other impressive state of the girl. And the last, the point of view. In this short story, it is third person limited because the narrator used words such as she and the little magic girl.
In my opinion, I love this story because this story has many lessons that I can take. One of them behaves generously towards those who are less fortunate. Despite her dire circumstances, the little girl dreamed warmth and food as she tries to earn money for her family.
My opinion about this story is I like this story. The story is sad but has a happy ending. This is the main attraction of this story for me.
I like this story because it teaches us how to behave and considerate way towards those who are less fortunate. One should be charitable to others no matter what their condition.